You're listening to the Impact Implosion on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
It's June 21st, 2016, and after a long while, it is another episode of the Impact Implosion here on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. I'm Seth, and on the other end of the tin cannon string is I have the biggest hands in the world to my I'm wearing no bra, Mike Poling.
Oh my God.
Hey, we had to do the 70s show jokes. And I'll take the I'm wearing no bra joke. I'll take that one.
If your fingers are too fat to hit the keys.
Oh God, yeah, we'll have to get to that hilarity that happened on Impact. Well, because I did see the replay, but first of all, before we even talk about news, we got to talk about a show that happened before we get to all the big news. And that was the show before Slammiversary.
Yep.
We start this wonderful show off with Dinner Theater Matt Hardy. Who talks about, I have eliminated my brother, Jeff, because Jeff cost me the title. And I'm like,
Matt, TNA is taking years off your life.
Yeah.
Every time you wrestle.
I want what never has lost to me. I want in on the Slammiversary main event and the TNA World Heavyweight title.
Matt Hardy, you were never in the Slammiversary main event to begin with.
Yeah, he wants back. He wants in the main event. He wants himself in the main event, says he eliminate. So Drew says Matt Hardy has lost his goddamn mind. That's an understatement.
No, really?
It's
you don't say, Drew.
You stole that title from me, and I want to be added to the main event of Slammiversary. How about fuck no? And Drew told him that. I knew you were a coward. And Drew's like, okay, you know what? You're not going to be in Slammiversary main event. But you know what? I'm feeling so good, I'll defend my title tonight. I'm like, no. Why are we doing this? But we are. We're getting that shit happening. So, this is TNA. They continue with their ass of, this character needs a world title match of Matt Hardy. Yes,
Jade. The character needs to die a death.
Jade comes out.
Oh, Hardy's program needs to die a death.
She needs to watch a number one contenders match between Sienna and Madison Rayne.
Why does Sienna need to win a number one contenders match if she's the right-hand woman of the frickin' leader of the division?
Yeah, they just want to do it.
That's bad booking. You should just be able to go to Maria and say, hey, you know, I'm the one helping you out. Give me the title shot. Well,
Maria's probably like, you know what? I want to give freaking Sienna a win before she goes into the women's title match because, you know, the last singles match she lost to Gail Kim, and might not want to do that. So,
yay.
The Cherry Bomb is annoying in her alley voice. Some people say she is such a voice of an angel. I say she is the voice of Minnie Mouse getting strangled.
Tone deaf angel.
Yes, so if you were wondering why they are calling Sienna's finisher the AK-47, it's because she was Allison Kay at one point. And by the way, she won in a quick match against Madison Rayne, which, thank God, Madison Rayne actually did the job.
Uh-huh.
Then Maria says, I am going to end Gail Kim's career. And Miracle is complaining about being forced to be a referee.
And then she broke her hand.
Oh, yeah, she'll break. Yeah, it's revealed. So EC3, it's later tonight. It's going to be EC3 and Gail versus Maria and Mike Bennett.
Hooray.
And then we get another Willow vignette because I guess Willow's showing up again. And then Eli Drake is on top of a mountain. We get this nice segment where Eli Drake's on top of a mountain with the King of the Mountain title.
Because he's the King of the Mountain champion.
Yep, there will be a Fact of Life show tonight. Oh, crap.
Dummy, yeah.
And then we get that show, but thank God they got rid of the damn announcer. Eli Drake just comes out. He still has the briefcase, but that briefcase has a title in it.
Allow me to whip this out.
Yeah. So Eli Drake's guests are the tag team champions, The Decay, and Eli Drake calls Rosemary the hottest knockout today, and we get a small yes chant. And even during all of this The Decay talking about how they're going to destroy the bromance, Eli Drake's facial expressions are just great. But of course, here comes the bromance.
Boom!
And they're like talking about how they're going to win. They might come to that ring right now. And Eli Drake says, dude, count the numbers. There's 3 of you, 4 of us. And he's like, no, we're going to have Shira and Grado come out.
Ugh. To make that team of jobbers worse.
Yes, and this makes Eli Drake go, dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah, dummy, yeah. So...
Gotta push the button 17 times.
So, and then, as Grado and Shira are coming down to the ring, freaking... the fucking... Who the hell's... Oh, and Grado's like, well, there's 5 of us and 4 of you. And I'm like, dude, you know you're gonna get jumped. And sure enough, they get jumped by the Tribunal and Al Snow with that goddamn whistle. Which,
Law Resistance 2.0.
And Bram comes out to beat up Eli Drake. So we have a 10-man tag match. And I had to mute this. I had to mute this match. Al Snow's whistle got fucking annoying. By the way,
his commentary, Al Snow's whistle.
They took this time to confirm that Grado and Shira will fight the Tribunal at Slammiversary.
Yay! Build!
And Grado almost pins Eli Drake, and I was having flashbacks of nightmares, but thankfully Eli Drake low blows Grado after interference and gets the pin. Thank fucking God. And Gail talks about how she is happy to get Maria in the ring, and I'm like, yeah, Gail, you wanting this match and nothing else is still stupid as hell.
Well, this whole storyline is dumb.
I know, it's stupid.
It's not getting any better.
Maria's still the head of the Knockouts division.
And it's not going to get any better with what we have to talk about later.
Yeah. So, Matt Hardy talks to Franklin in the back, and he's like, I know you're upset about this, but I want you to sit back and watch me win the belt, or I will destroy you just like I destroyed Brother Nero. And then
evil laughter.
Yes, and apparently there was an official weigh-in for Franklin and Drew Galloway. Why? I have no freaking idea. Because MMA does it. That's the only thing I got. So, we're getting the intergender tag match, and Maria decides Allie is replacing her. And
oh boy.
We learn, again, that Cherry Bomb is not being a wrestler. Is made to not be a wrestler, despite the fact that we know she's a wrestler. The fact that you put her down in the Lucha Libre World Cup shows you know she is a wrestler, but you're all like, oh, fuck that. She's not a wrestler.
That's logic. We're going to use her as Maria's surrogate, or her secretary.
So, and her screams get a little annoying, and they even get annoying for EC3, who's like, ah! So, EC3 chases Miracle out of the match, and Gail rolls up Allie for the win. And the 3 of them beat up on Gail and Pillmanize her with the chair. Pillmanize her leg with the chair. All the while, Jade chants are happening, and Jade never shows up.
No Jade.
No Jade. And then we get an X Division title match as Trevor Lee defends the belt against Eddie Edwards. And Trevor Lee finally gets a different entrance video, but he has the same music, so I guess we got to take some small things. And Pope is still trying to sell us on Trevor Lee, other than being a jobber from the 80s. Looking like a jobber from the 80s.
With a manager who has very ugly taste in jackets.
Oh, yeah. So, and Pope...
Those jackets do not look good on television, Gregory.
Just says Eddie Edwards could be a future world champion. Could happen, likely will not. So, Trevor Lee wins again thanks to help. Because, of course, Trevor Lee can't win a match on his own. And the sad thing is, once again, this time you had a really good match with these two, but you fucked it up. Says, and Franklin goes up to Drew, and Drew's like, I made you tap. And I'm like, I don't tap. You did last year, Franklin. Kurt Angle beat you. Remember that?
Nah.
So, Gail Kim's knee is pretty hurt, but she wants to be ready for Slammiversary. And we get the debuting Braxton Sutter, who takes on a jobber and wins with a jumping flatliner, which is okay. And I did like his catchphrase of, that's no BS.
Yes, because his name begins with a B and an S.
Yes, so.
And he's going to take over TNA until Slammiversary.
I love EC3 talking about, he was cutting this promo about how he's going to punch God in the face and saying, and he ends it with Ave Maria, you son of a bitch.
What's that?
It's a play. There's a song called Ave Maria, but it's a very church-like thing.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like the gods and stuff. It's coming from the heavens and all that stuff. It's a very famous piece of classical music. Yeah. No, not a hymn, not a religious hymn.
It's an opera.
Yeah, like opera.
Okay.
So we are just going to have a fatal 4-way match for the X Division title at Slammiversary. Yeah, that Ultimate X seems dumber now. And we get a montage for the main event between Franklin and Drew, so we know who is winning tonight.
I mean, Drew and... Oh, yeah. Thanks for spoiling that one.
Yeah. So, shot of the crowd shows they do not care about this match, and there is a point in this match where Matt Hardy resorts to biting Drew. And Franklin interferes, causes a DQ. Matt's still unhappy about not being the world champion. The lights go out, and fans have Willow masks on.
Yes, just in case you want to have nightmares for the rest of the night.
Yeah. So then there are five Willows the 4 Willows who come on stage, and a 5th Willow on the screen, and Jeff Hardy comes out, and it's time for a fight between these two, and that ends the show. This gets a D. It still wasn't good. It was better than the week before. But then again, there really isn't much to compare. You compare that with last week's show, it freaking should be better. So, yeah, that's that show.
Slammiversary a little bit.
Well, we got to talk about this one bit of news before Slammiversary even began, and it happened on Saturday. Besides Maria getting injured, the corporate finance officer, Dean something, I think Moorhead or something.
Dean Forehead.
Moorhead, I said, not Forehead. Whatever. But he said, was talking 8 hours with lawyers. God, I need to retire after this. But we've got the money and the trucks can come now. So yes.
Oh boy.
At the 11th hour, with the announcement that Billy Corgan is now the new minority owner of TNA, they got money to have Slammiversary.
They got it from Western Union.
Yes, they were able to get the trucks down to set up the ring and stuff at the 11th hour.
Oh, TNA.
That's really terrifying that you were that close to not having a show. But this is TNA, of course.
TNA.
Yep, TNA. Being TNA. Because that's the type of company they are. They're just TNA. Let's get to Slammiversary, everyone. And first of all, we start off with Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett versus Eddie Edwards versus DJZ. For the X Division title, which should have been an Ultimate X match, but we wasted that on free TV. And this match, and by the way, this match lasted longer than that Ultimate X match, which lasted 6 minutes. This lasted 10.
And Gregory Helms also got thrown out from ringside because of all the interference that he's been doing recently.
Yep. Before the match, he got thrown out, and Eddie Edwards is the new champ.
And we'll get to what happens with him later.
So,
what's next?
JB was brought in to talk to EC3. EC3 said this Sabbath he shall not rest, because tonight he ends his quest for redemption against Bennett. He needs to beat Bennett to be the best wrestler in this place. Calls Bennett a false prophet who is going to get 2 fists and 10 knuckles like Moses with the 10 Commandments. And he's heading to church tonight. Enough with the religious overtones, for God's sake. So, after that, we get a Slammiversary 2012 flashback showing Dixie Carter introducing Sting as the first TNA Hall of Fame inductee, and says they'll announce their Hall of Fame inductee on Tuesday. So, then we get Al Snow wearing a France zip-up jacket, butchered the French language to introduce his new tag team, and Snow says, just like Donald Trump is going to make this country great again, and considering Trump is having...
Al Snow, I don't know if you want to be comparing yourself to Donald Trump at any time.
And considering that Trump is having money troubles right now, with finances...
That's ironic.
I know, is having a bit of money troubles right now. So, Tribunal versus Grado and Shera, and apparently this match was...
sound like the name of a newspaper.
This match supposedly was shit.
Jeez, I wonder why. Look at the 4 guys in it.
In fact, so...
There's a reason certain guys never get called up from NXT.
Yeah, and Grado and Shera aren't going to help anything. So, Tribunal wins... which Grado got hit with the demolition finisher, and moving on.
Oh, God.
Backstage...
Which one of these guys is Barry Darsow, and which one of these guys is frickin' the Masked Superstar?
Who knows? So, anyways, backstage, the dimly lit arena, Pepper Parks walks through the hallway looking for an interview set. He approaches James Storm, who is in the middle of the promo, and they had an comfortable conversation about Storm thinking Parks was calling him old. So, Storm led him away to a private chat.
Last time he was doing that, the guys, he was brainwashing them.
I know. So, in ring, Gail Kim is introduced first and complains about Maria, saying she has pretending to have an arm injury, even though it's legit, people. So Maria comes out, and they whine that Gail Kim should be ashamed of herself for faking a leg injury, but the only person who deserves any sympathy is Maria, and Maria spoke about her hand being a cast, and she wanted to fight, but cannot, and Gail calls this bullshit, and, of course, Billy Corgan has to come out, wearing sunglasses, and Josh calls him William Corgan.
He wears his sunglasses at night.
He wears sunglasses indoors. So,
in an empty impact zone.
Has to show Gail Kim that, yes, Maria's arm is legit broken.
Her hand.
Her hand is broken. We have the freaking x-rays to show it. But, Gail, you'll get your rematch at whatever time. Eventually, when Maria's healthy, even though Maria says, I'll never be healthy. So,
it's a broken hand, you'll be healthy in a few months.
So,
shut up.
And probably, somehow Gail was able to do this, somehow. She is able to insert herself in to the Knockouts title match.
Corgan announced it.
Yeah, she's able to insert herself in, I guess, talking backstage and stuff. Gail Kim really is the Jane Cena of this company. She gets and has Batista's game gene code for unlimited title matches. So we get a triple threat match of Gail Kim, Jade, and Sienna, which Sienna wins in 8 minutes. thanks to Marty Bell, who comes out and hits Jade from behind the ref's back with a baton.
Marty Bell? We haven't seen her in weeks, Pope.
Yeah. Backstage, JB welcomed
Josh
in
Matthews.
Franklin, talking about the world title match. Franklin says, there is only one way this title match can end tonight, knockout or tap out. Drew made a mistake for entering his world of fighting, and JB should start practicing announcing him as the world champion. JB didn't want to do it, but Franklin forced him to. Now we go into the ring with James Storm introducing that he is going to make TNA history, has been part of every Slammiversary in the company. So he's when one man gave Punk Kids Like Abyss, AJ Styles and himself a chance, which was like himself as well. And yeah.
So he's going to give a Punk Kid a chance who's been in the business 10 years.
Yeah, he's talking about Jeff Jarrett. Of course, talks about his character living how he wants to live by raising a lot of heck. He wants to sit at home 14 years from now, watching someone else in his position. So he's going to give Braxton Sutter the opportunity. And
Braxton Sutter should have won this match, but no.
No, I think Storm was better off winning this match. At this point, they have done nothing with James Storm, and they still done nothing with James Storm. They need to do something with James Storm. Bottom line.
I think Bobby Roode leaving messed up whatever plans they had for him.
Yeah.
I think Beer Money was supposed to get a longer run.
So, let me say this right now. Do something with James Storm. You've signed him for 2 years, you dumb shits.
No, we're just going to have him sit and drink beer.
Yeah, just put him in some title match or something. Have him go for the King of the Mountain, why not? But no,
Eli Drake.
Yeah, so Storm wins. 6 minutes. Next we have JB talking at Eli Drake about the King of the Mountain title defense tonight, and said there will be 3 title changes tonight. JB said there will not be 3 title changes tonight. Oh no, Eli said that, and Bram said Bram may be crazy enough to put his life on the line to take this title with him, but it's not happening. Eli said it's a fact of life that he is going to keep the title, and
dummy.
Of course,
yeah,
dummy. So then we get another flashback to Dixie Carter revealing Kurt Angle to be the second inductee into the TNA Hall of Fame.
Hey, look at all these guys that don't work for us anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Except the last guy. So, in ring, Bram is introduced as the challenger. Eli Drake comes out wearing the King of the Mountain title like a military weapon or something.
Well, speaking of military, Chris Melendez left TNA.
Oh, yeah, he got left. I always said they picked the wrong one-legged former soldier, since they could have picked Mike Hayes instead. The former, not Michael Hayes, different Mike Hayes.
Not the Freebird.
Not the Freebird, different Mike Hayes. But yeah, who was a former OVW heavyweight champion, so you had the opportunity and you passed it up to get that jabroni. Because who
was terrible in every way.
Who was green and trained. Only reason he got the job was he was trained by Bully Ray, which makes no sense nowadays since Bully Ray is now in WWE. So, match.
And Melendez after 2 years hadn't improved any.
So, this match lasted 8 minutes, and Eli Drake won with a freaking clothesline that some people call a lariat. No, it is not. It is a freaking clothesline.
It's not JBL or Stan Hansen doing the lariat. It's a clothesline.
No, sorry. He does a freaking clothesline. He does a diving clothesline, but it's not a real lariat. Sorry.
The Barbarian.
Yeah.
The clothesline from the ropes.
No, it's not even a clothesline from the ropes. He just goes in and just clotheslines him.
Yay.
So, yeah, it's not a lariat. Sorry. It's not a good lariat either. It's not a lariato like Stan Hansen or clothesline from hell like JBL. It's a freaking clothesline.
It's not a good lariat. It's not a bad lariat. It's just it's not a good clothesline. It's not a bad clothesline. It's just a clothesline.
Yeah. It's not even the clothesline. It's just a clothesline. So Drake got to advance past his goofy heel business and won the match clean. So moving on, JB brings in Mike Bennett, Mike Bennett says he is the miracle. He is the best wrestler on the planet. He also ended EC3's on pin streak. And now Carter gets his so-called redemption match, but it's not happening tonight. The crowd will be honoring him, not Carter, after tonight. So, match happens. And apparently it was okay. It was probably one of the longer matches. It got 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
EC3 wins. Yep,
he redeems himself and he moves on.
And to anyone who thought Bennett should have won this match, no.
No, EC3 wins the feud. The face wins the feud.
Yeah, well, sometimes the heel wins the feud, but Bennett had already won everything else. Let EC3 have his one match. So
the match
somewhere
that
in the building,
anyway,
the Matt Hardy is speaking in broken sentences about Brother Nero, and he is the only reason for his success. He vows to end Jeff tonight. And then we get a video package that ran on a loop during the pre-show. So back in the arena, Ruby Sky comes out holding her baby Maxwell, cuts a promo on the crowd that Matt will delete Brother Nero from history. The poor kid looks at his mom like, what is going on here? And Matt comes out with new music.
Why am I being subject to this mother?
Yeah, which is piano music, by the way, as if freaking Schroeder was playing his entrance.
Yep.
So, yep, this match happened.
Full Metal Mayhem. Falls count anywhere in the building because they were stupid enough to do a ladder match without anything on the line.
So, yes, it ended with a pinfall. I guess it was also Falls Count Anywhere, though you never said it.
Yep.
So,
I think they said it on commentary.
Jeff wins with a twist of fate a swanton bomb onto a table on the floor and a pinfall.
And you think this would end the feud, but
by the way, funny highlight of the night, Matt Hardy using an giant electronic keyboard as a weapon. Powerbombing Jeff Hardy onto a keyboard. Gold.
And then trying to play his theme music.
I know.
And messing it up like he did in the terrible angle they did a couple weeks back that we talked about.
The freaking keyboard. No, that's the keyboard cat. It's keyboard cat. Yeah. So, video, Abyss speaks on behalf of the Decay, saying he is not a monster. He is beautiful. Steve says the future is full of warnings and chaos. And Rosemary speaks that Decay is ever changing like a corpse on the field. Speaking of corpses, the Bromans died a long time ago. Their gold might be tempting, but they stand no chance.
And they lose.
Yep. This was the Pittsburgh match.
This is anyone who with a brain would have expected.
This was 9 minutes, and they way overbooked this. They gave the Bromans way too much offense, and they had interference here because freaking Steve was tapping out to the Adonis lock while the ref was distracted.
By what? Was he looking at what was he looking at?
Yeah, it was basically distracted by Abyss, who got missed. Who missed? Oh, Abyss missed the ref. Not a DQ here. Not a fucking DQ here. Yeah,
I kind of want to see. I want to see that spot in the video. A Botchamania video.
Yeah, Abyss actually missed the ref. He was trying to miss somebody else. He missed the ref. So yeah.
Sounds like he hit the ref.
Yeah, he hit the ref. I said he missed it, as in the mist.
Oh, I thought.
So
it's a bad joke. Sorry.
Yeah. Chaos everywhere. Raquel's brawling with Rosemary. Why?
That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Steve belt shots Jesse. New ref comes out. Abyss powerbombs Steve onto Jesse. Score the pinfall. Because their finisher is Steve gets beaten the shit out of on top of the guy. Gets a finisher hit on him on top of another guy.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Then That's a finisher in any company.
No, that's a mid-match spot.
I know. So, backstage, Drew Galloway cuts a promo on Franklin, saying he will never quit, so Franklin will have to knock him out. And he's been defending this title.
He will never quit. 20 minutes later.
And he isn't the underdog. After all, he tapped out Kurt Angle, and he sure can tap out Bobby Lashley. Although
20 minutes later.
Okay. Yeah, 20 minutes later, and what was supposedly actually 17 minutes later, and what was supposedly a pretty good match.
Doesn't sound like it would be something that would be too bad.
Drew gets knocked out, and the ref has to call for the bell as Lashley puts Drew in a freaking chokehold, a neck vice.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, new world champion, Franklin the Turtle.
Hey, it's Lashley.
Yay! It's the Turtle, Franklin the Turtle.
Any more news?
A few bit of news, even though this show's been gone for fucking ever. Show's still going on because we have 2 more shows to do. Fuck our lives. Anyways.
The show that doesn't end.
Yeah, Chris Melendez left. Got that one.
They re-signed a bunch of people, too.
Yeah. Crazy Steve.
Decay.
Abyss, who accidentally forgot to put a hyphen under re-signed, so it sounds like he's resigned. Yeah, and I told him that. I'm like, dude, you might want to put a hyphen between the 2 words. So you don't resign. It doesn't look like you quit. And everyone joking about Trevor Lee being Ashley Larry. You remember Chappelle's show? There was his character called Ashley Larry.
Oh,
yeah. Some people called Trevor Lee that. because of his homeless nature.
Coming to you from under the bridge, it's Trevor Lee.
So, we get supposedly... They have for months tell us this Impact is live. We are told for months.
For weeks.
That this Impact will be live. And first of all, it's not live, and it was filmed 3 hours before the main show, and better yet, a storm happened, and what we got were that 70s show commercials. Oh,
TNA, beware of dog, Impact.
Yes. So we got to learn that Donna isn't wearing a bra and has the hugest hands in the world. Eric Foreman likes to say bitchin'.
Yep.
That celebrity name game show has new furniture. Jonah Hill is the son of Seth Rogen somehow.
Oh, what a mess.
Oh,
Donna's got man hands. She should be on an episode of Seinfeld.
Donna is the best girlfriend ever in the world.
Well, don't disagree with that.
I know, yeah. So, it was funny. It was funny as hell.
TNA.
And, and wrestling is ballet with violence, according to Jesse Ventura.
It's all a conspiracy, McMahon.
It's all a conspiracy. And yes, these technical commercials happened for nearly 2 hours. And even James Storm retweeted, "You've got to be kidding me," with a picture of a kitten.
Somebody else retweeted, "Sorry about your damn luck."
I know. You've got to be kidding me with a kitten with a facepalm.
Oh, boy.
This was just absolutely hilarious that this happened. And this is just minor league. This seems minor league crap. Oh, dear God, this was hilarious to watch. But we got to get out of the way because, of course, it was Pop TV's fault. But Impact can take one thing for sure. They were trending on Twitter.
For one.
No, seriously, hashtag Impact on Pop was trending on Twitter when this happened. I am not kidding.
with all of TNA's million fans saying, "Where's TNA? What happened?"
Yes, with Pop TV telling everyone, we are having technical difficulties, we apologize, we will be airing it in entirety, which started at 10:50.
Whoops.
So, we begin the show with the Slammiversary replay, because I did watch the Impact replay on Wednesday, and Impact is live on Pop, and it is not 48 hours away from Slammiversary. Stop lying, Josh. So Franklin comes out in a dress shirt and a plaid shirt, jacket and a plaid shirt underneath. Lashley has gone to plaid. And Lashley says, well, this is live TV, I guess.
No, it's not.
And Franklin calls himself the most dominant person ever in wrestling. Brock Lesnar would like to have a word with you. Then he says, no one wants to face me. So here comes EC3. I guess you were wrong, Turtle Man. And Franklin admitted, with your theme song, I almost caught myself dancing to it.
I bet Lashley would dance like Carlton.
You know what? As much as I give shit on Franklin, he's really gotten good at the promos. He absolutely has. He really feels natural in his position. And he says he has a challenger and says, dude, you don't want me. You don't want me. You don't want this. You don't want this. You're the last guy I can destroy. So Drew comes out, tells Franklin to shut the hell up, and tells EC3, you're going to have to take your shot at another time. Because I am not broken, Franklin, even though Franklin says, oh yeah, you are broken.
No, that's Matt Hardy's gimmick.
Yeah, so Drew invokes his rematch clause, and I am like, you sure you don't want to wait a week, buddy? You sure you don't want to wait?
Nope, no waiting.
No waiting, so we get word backstage, we get Eli Drake coming out, because he's going to fight Jeff Hardy for the King of the Mountain title, because backstage, he and Jeff Hardy were talking, and Jeff says, why don't you put your King of the Mountain title shot on the line against me? And Eli Drake's like, okay. Despite being supposedly a chicken shit heel, he's like, okay, I'll do it. I'll meet you out in the ring, buddy. So yes, Jeff Hardy versus Eli Drake. That will happen tonight. And everyone was like, Eli Drake was the betting underdog. And I'm like, no, he was the betting favorite. People thought he was going to win. So Josh tells us to DVR Impact every week, which I was like, oh, poor choice of words there. Poor choice of words there, buddy, after this week. Because if you did, you would get an hour and 50 minutes of Convert That 70s Show, Impact, and the Celebrity Name Game commercials, the same ones. And it's at this point you realize Eli Drake needs a new finisher, and Jeff Hardy not wanting to be pinned. There's a segment where Jeff Hardy acts like he doesn't want to be pinned. He struggles, and Eli Drake still tries to pin him anyway. And this reminded me of Victory Road 2011, because Jeff is wearing the same freaking attire.
Except he's not facing Sting, and he's not hammered.
He's not high off his ass. To the
point
he
learned his lessons from that incident.
Well, I'm not sure if he has. Sometimes I still think he's high off his ass with Willow and stuff.
I'd say Matt Hardy might be the one who might be high off his ass.
That is true. So Eli Drake has a rest hold that would make Randy Orton pop a boner. And Eli Drake goes to the outside, and he's about to do a Jeff Hardy move. He says, I'm going extreme! He tries to do it. Jeff Hardy catches him. So Jeff Hardy.
I've been doing these moves my whole career.
Jeff Hardy hits the Swanton Bomb for 1-2, and then Matt Hardy bites the ref's fingers. Drawing blood. Because Matt likes to bite people, and then Jeff throws a steel chair that barely grazes Matt. Seriously.
Sabu would like to have a word with you.
What?
Sabu would like to have a word with you.
Yeah. And, oh yeah, by the way, Earl Hebner may need to get that hand checked. We don't want him going dinner theater on us.
We
don't want Earl Hebner to go. We don't want Earl Hebner to go, competitors! Fight for honor! For me! I will decide who wins and who loses.
Brother Hebner!
So we get a commercial break, and they talk about Xfinity's coverage of the Olympic Games, and I'm like, Xfinity's coverage of the Olympic Games, the best way to watch the Olympics without having to worry about the Zika virus.
I had forgotten the Olympics. This year was an Olympic year.
Yep, in Rio, where we have to worry about our athletes getting struck with a virus because Rio's water is so fucking polluted. And
let's have our Olympics where everybody will get sick.
Yep. So EC3 and Drew are talking backstage. Thankfully, no commercial interferences this time. And Drew and EC3's like, you probably invoked your rematch clause way too early. You sure you want to do this? And Drew's like, I have to do this. And then we go back to Jeff Hardy still in the ring and is looking for Matt Hardy because Matt Hardy left somehow. And then we hear Brother Near. He calls Matt Hardy Brother Moore because Matt's middle name is Moore.
Oh, God.
If I'm Brother Nero, you're Brother Moore. And Matt Hardy's voice goes like, Brother Nero! And he's like, where are you, Matt? And then the lights go to the stairs, and Dinner Theater Matt Hardy is on the stairs. Come here, Brother Nero!
You can't badly this time.
You will be dilated! He didn't say deleted, he said dilated. And you see in the corner, Jeff Hardy is corpsing on the turnbuckle. Yes, he is trying to hold back his laughter poorly, so I am like, send for the man. Send for Macho Man somewhere to slap the taste out of him. Because that's what Macho Man did to Tori Wilson when she was corpsing in WCW. So Jeff Hardy's coming to fight his brother on the stairs, and even Pope is questioning Matt's lingo. So we get a stairs fighting, and then Rebby with a fire extinguisher, and then in one of the most goofiest moments of all time, Jeff Hardy is sprawled onto the guardrail of the stairs and slid down it into a table.
This is a Gooker Award nominee.
Did you see that spot though?
Nominee.
Please tell me you saw that spot where Jeff was lying on the stairwell and Matt pushed him to the table.
Did not see it.
Oh, god damn. I'll need to post you a link to it because it is funny as hell. The fact that he thought this would be a great idea to do.
It's like it's like the little kid trying to slide down the railing.
I know. And you're like, oh dear God, why would you do this?
I'm just going to continue taking years off my life.
Yes. Alright, on here you can watch it at any time on the message board that if you hit there's a little, if you go on Skype, there's a little window that says, it looks like a talk balloon. If you hit that, you'll see and you'll see it.
Okay.
Alright. God damn it. Hold on. Moving on. Because that was hilarious. And I'll wait for you to do that, because it is funny as hell. It is worth seeing.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So, let me get back to where we were. Yes. Anyways, Matt Hardy then cuts a promo saying how he will delete Brother Nero once and for all, and we will have 6 sides of steel. And after Matt cuts this promo, he starts biting the air, like going,
what are you on, Matt?
We seriously have no idea what Matt Hardy is on. But yes, He is on something. So Trevor Lee comes to the ring,
humping the hell of a drug, whatever it is.
Yeah, Trevor Lee is humping the ring.
Oh, God. They go from biting the air to humping the ring.
Yeah. Ring humper is better than Trevor Lee, 80s jobber. So we're getting Trevor Lee cashing in his rematch clause against Eddie Edwards. Thank you for reminding us that Gregory Shane Helms has a manager's license and that he has appealed. And there's a point where Trevor Lee is choking Eddie with his boot and is headbanging during the whole time. And in a funny moment that happened during this match, Pope was talking, and then we cut to commercial. We had a commercial interruption in this replay, but it was one fucking commercial, and then we go back to the show. So yes, commercials have still interrupted this show. Afterwards, Eddie Edwards knocks out G.S. Helms, and Eddie Edwards hits an enziguri called the Boston Knee Party and retains the title.
Oh, he's done that in ROH, yeah.
So have you seen the tweet yet?
The tweet? The video? No, I'm not actually near my computer.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Never mind then. Yeah. So here we are.
I will look tomorrow.
We will find out who will be in the TNA Hall of Fame. Although TNA kind of spoiled it yesterday.
As if you couldn't guess anyway.
But before that, we got to go to another commercial break. And Independence Day has invaded us, and one asshole, all he cares about is his fucking Twizzlers.
God.
So
we're all going to die. At least they have Twizzlers.
So, by the way, afterwards, we go to the Bromans. Jesse has admitted that he has hacked the TNA camera feeds, like he did in Big Brother, and they are watching.
Illegal.
And they are watching Raquel undress, so they are complete pervs. And then Franklin says, "EC3, you're playing games," and EC3 says, "I don't freaking care who it is. I just want my shot." So he tells him watching the monitors, and that gives EC3 an idea. So then we have the entire TNA roster out there. Proud thing for you, Dixie. She's like, "This has been a proud thing for me." And I'm like, "You must sure be proud that Earl Hebner is the only Hall of Famer still with the company." And the 2016 Hall of Fame inductee will be Gail Kim. Dixie has a mic echo issue.
And Mike Bennett and Maria.
Yeah, so afterwards, and me, I was not happy with this because, yes, I thought there were people more deserving in TNA Hall of Fame than Gail Kim should have gone in first. A few of them are actually on that stage, James Storm and Abyss.
Yep.
So, Decay promo time, and Rosemary talks about someone's darkness calls out to them. So then we get an interview with
who that is.
Marty Bell. Talks about costing Jade the Knockouts title. She was mad that Jade turned her back on her for the freaking title and said, "We started the dollhouse. It was us. It was always us." And I'm like, "What was Rebel?" I guess she was later, but still. But Jade interrupts and kicks Marty's ass and throws a steel chair better than Jeff Hardy does. So our tag title match we have a fatal 4-way tag team title match with the Decay defending against the Bromans, the Tribunal, and Grado and Shera. Oh, fuck.
Showing how little depth TNA's tag team division has.
And I had to freaking mute and say, if the Bromans and Shera win, I will fucking riot. I mean, if Grado and Shera win, if the Bromans win, I will groan because I know you will rub it in with the boom on the implosion.
Boom!
If the Tribunal win, all future title matches will be muted, so the only acceptable team winning is Decay. And we got another commercial interruption, I think, but I muted the show, so it may have just been set up this time. And the match ends, and Abyss chokeslams Crazy Steve on the Grado. I still think this is a rather stupid tag team finisher. And Allie's backstage, and Maria makes her leave. So we won't be hearing her screaming in her squeaky voice. So Miracle and Maria go out to the ring with demands. But first, we got to get Jeff Hardy's word and thinking, I will be crazy, and I am undefeated in Hardy's revenge. So I'm going to fight you and be undefeated still. But here comes Mike Bennett officially, and what shirt is he wearing? He is wearing a shirt filled with pineapples. He definitely lives
Wyatt shirt.
He definitely lives under the sea and is the home of SpongeBob SquarePants, apparently.
And Maria is a Krusty Krab.
Oh, come on, that's wrong. Maria is more beautiful than a Krusty Krab. So Mike Bennett is demanding his loss be erased just because. And here comes Billy Corgan, who is wearing his sunglasses in the arena. And as the announcers are talking, and we're about to hear Mike Bennett commercial.
And we're back. Whoever runs top does not want to hear from Mike Bennett.
And we are still hearing Mike Bennett talk, but you didn't get the full Mike Bennett talking. So Billy Corgan says, look, we might want to... So, yeah, we missed the part where Billy Corgan says, Mike, you may have wanted to talk to us in the back. May want to email or something. Just talk to us in the back. We don't need to be this publicly, and Bennett saying that. And so Maria thinks Billy Corgan is sent by Dixie and wants Dixie to come out if she's got the balls or whatever, the cojones, whatever. Dixie comes out. Dixie says, we are live. We are not. And just tells Mike, Maria, and Merrick just to set up a meeting. And Maria thinks Dixie is a problem and she can run the company better.
No.
I agree. Although, I think Maria can run the company better than Dixie. But that isn't saying much. What their list of demands is they want to be in the Hall of Fame now.
You've been in the company 6 months.
I know, so Dixie thinks Maria shouldn't even run the Knockouts division. And have you ever been in a one-on-one match? She's been in matches. No, it's not a one-on-one match. So, yeah, she's been in matches, but... So, Maria says she is a self-made woman, which is a huge diss on Dixie Carter, who is just here because of her dad.
Yep.
And Maria pokes at Dixie, and Dixie proceeds to give one of the most pathetic slaps in the world, and the announcer's like, oh my God! She slapped Maria! And I'm like, oh dear God. Yes, she slapped her with a granny slap. It's the slap that changed everything. Slap heard around the world. It was
it's not Stephanie slapping Linda.
Let me just explain this to you. Stephanie slaps harder when she isn't even trying.
Yes.
Yeah, so we see Lashley in a mutated M&M attire of shirt, but which might be just a Bellator shirt, since it is red and white.
He's still in that?
Yes, Lashley Franklin is still in Bellator. So, and immediately they replay the Dixie slap. Then we see EC3 on commentary to commentate this main event, and Franklin...
Gee, I wonder what's going to happen here.
So, we get a really interesting spot where I don't know if it's Franklin or Drew, but one of them German suplex the other guy, and he ricochets off the ropes, not the turnbuckle.
Oh boy, that's safe.
Yeah. Yeah, he hits his head on the second rope.
Going right into the rope like that.
Yeah, he hits the second rope. So, yeah. So, Franklin goes for the spear, Drew reverses it into an armbar, but Franklin gets the ropes. Drew delivers a weak clothesline, which only gets weak pile driver, which only gets a 2 count. Drew Galloway hits a Celtic cross off the second rope, only gets a 2 count, which, by the way, everyone was impressed by Sheamus doing it on WWE. I saw that already. Drew did it a few days earlier.
Yep.
So, Drew Galloway hits the Claymore, but Lashley moves out of the way. Franklin moves out of the way, so Drew hits the ref with the Claymore. And Franklin hits the spear, and this should be the end of the match, but the ref is down. So Franklin hits a second spear, and now wants a chair, and now EC3 is running interference. Both men stare down each other. They begin to fight. And EC3 grabs the chair, tries to hit Franklin with it as he's picking up Drew, and Franklin moves out of the way, so he hit Drew with the chair. Franklin spears EC3 out of the ring, then locks Drew in the same hold that he won and gets the victory by the ref, by a new referee, who apparently saw all of that, but since he was not there, did not count any of it. Seriously, he could have called it DQ or no contest. He saw the new referee should have seen all of this happen, but decides nothing happened.
Why are referees in wrestling so stupid?
I don't know. But this is some stupidity. However, I will give this show a C.
Sounds like it was actually a fine show.
Yeah, it was okay. Now...
And let's finally get to the last show, the batch.
Which we're going to definitely have issues with because he didn't like it. Mike Bennett didn't like
I didn't see the end of the show. I think
it wasn't
there were
just
certain things here that
Mike Poland didn't like the show.
End.
I liked the show. It wasn't just the ending was okay. But it's a usual Hardy spot. So let's talk about this. We begin with the Hardys.
Jeff Hardy replacing the Angle spot in the cage match.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy both Hardys are talking about being in the cage and saying the other one's going down.
Now, I like this because that's the old school Saturday Night's Main Event build up to a match. Kind of.
So,
where they're doing the...
Hope says, everyone is looking forward to the Hardys fighting each other tonight, our main event. And Drew comes out in a very foul mood. And immediately says...
get your ass out here.
He says, I am not here to whine, bitch, and complain, and proceeds to do exactly that, saying he should be world champion here if it wasn't for this one man, so EC3, get your ass out here. EC3 comes out and says, Drew, I know, I was not intending to interfere, but I saw what Lashley was doing, and I had to interject. And I'm sorry if my interjection cost you. I'm sorry that my interjection cost you the match. I apologize. So, but Drew isn't accepting this. No, Drew wants to fight him and excuses EC3 that he did everything because he wanted to be in the title match and was jealous that Drew was getting.
You blame him. It's being the heavyweight champion, even if it is in a second-rate company.
Well, here's the problem, Drew. EC3 did say that, yeah, I did want to fight Franklin, but you shouldn't have fought him. I should have gotten the shot before you because you weren't ready. But you know what? And I know what I know you talk about defending the company. You were doing it all over the world and stuff. I was defending this company too when I was champion. I was like, EC3, no, you weren't. When you were champion, you were a heel champion. You were the heel. So here comes Franklin, comes out, and he's like, oh, isn't this sweet? He's like, you know what? I have to stop this. This is so cute. Y'all arguing and stuff.
Children.
So he's like, you know what? I got a solution. To an idea. Why don't you two tag tonight? And you know what? And if you guys win, you'll get a title shot against me, both of you. But if you lose, you're going to the back of the line. And he's like, but I'm a fair man.
I need a partner.
And you know what? If my partner and I win, I'm going to give my partner a tag team not a tag team. I'm being Andre the Giant here for a minute. A world heavyweight title match. And here comes Eli Drake, who says, I'm your partner. And Franklin says, you know what? Fine. Okay, sounds good to me. And by the way, I missed a few things. EC3 called Franklin 8-ball, which I hope it was just because he was bald and not because he's black, too. Because that's a little racist. But anyways, this was all... So this started out a match against the Dream Team versus the Dummies. And you know what? I like this match a lot. And especially I like the teamwork between Franklin and Eli Drake. They worked really well together.
They're an unusual team that wouldn't get along in most circumstances.
And they looked like they could really get to work together. They were doing double team holds that you probably wouldn't expect from a normal tag team. Like Franklin was choking him and telling Eli to hit him, and they were doing stuff like that. It was an interesting dynamic, and I would not mind Eli Drake and Franklin becoming a tag team in the future. They were good.
At least like Lashley being the big guy and Eli kind of being the guy that kind of talker that gets him in trouble.
But both guys are talkers, and both guys can Eli Drake ain't great in the ring. Lashley's not great. Franklin's not great in the ring either. Both are talkers. It could work. But the end comes where Eli Drake hits the 1%er. Drew pushes EC3 because Drew is the legal man, and Franklin spears EC3. Drew takes out Franklin and pins EC3.
Eli Drake.
He pins Eli Drake. He pins Eli Drake. My bad. Who was out from the 1%er still. Next match. This was actually I'm actually been really positive about this show so far. And it continues as Decay want to know who Rosemary has been talking about. And she tells them to trust her and that they will find out who it is next. But backstage, before that, we get Franklin confronting Drew
playing mind games with Drew.
He says, I still control your destiny. I could just give EC3 the title shot first instead of you. You got to remember that. And he's like, I'll beat you. I'll still beat you. So, you know what? We'll fight outside. And Franklin's like, nah, I'll kick your ass out there. So, nah. So here comes the Decay. And they think who is demented enough is Bram. And Bram comes out all confused about this. And Rosemary talks about all the things Bram went through, betraying his partner, being betrayed, feeling betrayed by his partners, all of this, not being able to get it done alone. And you know what? Join us, basically. And Bram's like, I just turned face, and you know what? I don't do the makeup. I don't do makeup, so no. Which, in this segment, is a lot more interesting than the Decay feuding with the Bromance. Easily.
Yep.
So, the Decay missed Bram in the face and beat him up, because they don't take rejection well. Afterwards, we get told Jade and Marty Bell is next, but first we get Franklin telling EC3 that I'm still in control, and EC3's, in some way you're a coward. And he's like, don't ever call me a coward again. So yeah, that's the word that Franklin does not like. Coward. And we'll find out soon who the world champion will face next week. So, time for a match between two former friends in Jade versus Marty Bell. And Jade comes out wanting to kick Marty's ass. And at one point threatens to attack Marty with the baton. But Earl Hebner has to yell her, no! Get that out of here! I will DQ you! And Jade listens. So Earl has Earl has issues with Marty Bell slapping Jade, but no issues when Jade slaps Marty. And Pope and them are still talking about the slap hurt around the world, but Marty hits Jade with the baton while the ref isn't looking, and Marty picks up the win. This feud is continuing. So Miracle and Maria, I like to call him the Miracle instead of Mike Bennett. It's a lot easier. Are in the ring to call it Dixie because apparently Dixie assaulted him, Maria, with that weak ass slap. Segment. Yeah, this segment. First of all, Miracle, you are in a wrestling ring. Dixie is part of the TNA roster as the owner. She is still technically counts. So yeah, not assault. If that were the case, Stephanie McMahon would have a goddamn rap sheet. She would be on America's Most Wanted at this point with her slaps.
Billy Corgan's acting.
Oh, God. So, says Maria hasn't slept in weeks, and the slap wasn't provoked, which it was. So Maria wants Dixie to explain herself, and Dixie says, Maria, all these people would have done everyone would have done the exact same thing with a smile on their face, and Maria's like, no, they would have assaulted me. You still assaulted me. And Maria's like, no. Dixie, you need to step down. And Dixie's like, this is BS. And Mike's like, what's BS? Is I'm threatening a lawsuit here. So Billy, in some of the...
My dad's a lawyer.
Yeah, so I can get it for free. Yeah,
and we all know TNA's lawyers are shit.
Yeah, we do.
We've talked about that before.
We've so talked about that before. So Billy's like, they have some good points. We need to deal with this. So I'm going to deal with this. Dixie, you need it. And Dilly Corgan sucks on the mic and tells Dixie, you know what? You did go overboard. You know what?
You need to take a week off.
You need to take a week off. You need a leave of absence for a week. So they thank him, but Miracle's like, we ain't done yet. I want you to give me a title match. Ultimate Destination X is coming out, and you know what? I want an X Division title match. And in the strangest moment, in just some BS logic, Billy Corgan goes on about how, you've got to earn these title matches. The last time we saw you in the ring, you lost. So I'm gonna give it to you.
I'll give you a title match with Eddie Edwards.
I'm going to give you you know what? You need to beat somebody. We're going to give some names. So I'm going to give you that title match. And I'm like, you just said he needs to win first before he gets a title match. He needs to earn it. So you just give it to him anyway. That makes no fucking sense. And even Eddie Edwards is like, what the hell? So.
You mean he doesn't have to beat DJ Z first?
He should beat somebody first. Have him beat DJ Z.
Mandrews is not doing anything.
Mark Andrews, yeah. Fucking Mark Andrews. Have him beat somebody. Have him beat a worthy contender and say, okay, yeah, we'll give you the shot now. You beat somebody. You beat a person. We'll beat an X Division guy. So.
Or have him win a non-title match over Eddie.
So, yeah, have a non-title match win over Eddie. If you beat Eddie here, you get a title match next week.
Yes, there's how you book it. You don't just pull this out of your ass.
Yeah, this was stupid. But this was just, and so we go to a commercial break and we get the X Division graphic for an X Division match, even though this is not an X Division match, just the belt's in the line.
Mike Bennett is not an X Division competitor.
No, he's not. So in TNA logic, you have to earn opportunities equals you can have the opportunity.
I'd like to work for TNA.
And in one of the funny moves, Mike Bennett thinks about doing an X Division move, goes up to the top, tries to get on the third rope, but falls over. This was intentional, by the way, people. This was intentional to make Mike Bennett look like an idiot. We have Maria distracting the ref so Mike can rake the eyes and get a cutter for only 2. And this finish.
Yep.
Eddie Edwards is trying to do a sunset flip on Mike Bennett, but Mike Bennett, clear in front of the referee, grabs the ropes and holds on to them, and the ref is okay with this. He pinned...
TNA has terrible officials.
Yes. Mike, he grabbed the rope right in front of you. You messed up the spot here. So, ref, tell Mike Bennett, you're on the ropes. You're on the freaking ropes. Get off the ropes. You do this spot again. You didn't do it. And this time, you have the ref see the 1, then you grab the ropes with Maria, and then the 3 count. This seemed a whole lot easier. This segment sucked. This whole shit sucked. This was terrible. So Mike Bennett, a guy, is just gonna cash in Option Z they're just gonna basically relegate this to, it's a Money in the Bank, instead of a way to get somebody fucking over. Maybe give somebody an opportunity they wouldn't have.
Right.
So, fuck this.
Bad.
This was bad. These 2 segments, the Dixie Maria thing and this, were freaking terrible. So, we get this with a bromance segment. Joy. Robbie eating food. Finding Jesse has protein bars and stuff, only that's not good enough. So he grabs Jesse's iPad And he sees Jesse hitting it off with Raquel backstage. In the parking lot. And he is pissed about this, even though, as we talked about, Robbie E. has a pregnant wife at home. So, here comes Braxton Sutter, and then you get to see the guy he's facing, Ballum. And holy shit.
Where'd they find this guy?
I would like to say this. If it's for all of you who did not see this show, imagine if have you ever seen Godzilla movies, Mike?
I have heard of them. I have not seen them.
There is a character named King Caesar who looks like a dog, but is a monster kind of looks like a dream catcher, actually, if you've ever seen one of those. Well, Chinese dream catcher, not the Indian dream catcher.
Oh, no, I have not.
He looks like a kind of dog dragon-like thing, but if King Caesar fucked a Smurf, that's what this character looks like.
Oh, boy.
And as
he didn't even get the wrestle.
And by the way, I've been told the guy behind the mask was the same guy who does Lince Dorado.
The Golden Lynx.
Yep. Lince Dorado was Ballum here, which is funny because Lince Dorado is in the Cruiserweight Series at WWE Cruiserweight Series. So I guess he's like, well, I ain't tarnishing my crap here. I guess I had to book here, but I can't tarnish my crap. I'll get this gimmick of Ballum. But
and look who comes out,
Rockstar Spud comes out, and he shoos away Ballum. He's like, what the heck? Get out of here. Get out of here. I want to wrestle. You get out of here. And Ballum leaves. Just leaves.
Easiest money he'll never make.
Easiest money to make. Easiest money. Easiest work he's ever done. So, this was actually a pretty good match. And you know what really made this
good?
And you know what really made this good? Rockstar Spud can get a reaction from anyone. He really can. Yep. He can get people to freaking hate his ass, which he did here. And Braxton Sutter won with the flatliner. He goes to talk to Spud, and Spud congratulates him, says, this is the guy, this guy's worth it, this guy belongs here, raises his hand, kicks him in the balls, and hits him once, whips him with the belt, then taunts him and spits in his face. Spits on him. So, yeah.
Not bad.
This was actually good, and then we go to a segment with Sienna promoting herself as the Knockouts champion, saying she is a former MMA fighter. I have not confirmed this.
Oh, she's training in MMA.
Yeah, she's training in MMA and has won fights.
I actually like this. This is the way they should have introduced her instead of just, she's Maria's lackey.
Yes, apparently she supposedly has won fights or whatever. I disagree with that. I have looked on Facebook, I've looked on Wikipedia, and I've never seen her do MMA, and this says nothing about her doing MMA.
What is her real name again?
Well, she is gone by Allison Kay, and that is her real name, by the way. So I have looked this up on Wikipedia. It's not there. So, by the way, basically, and we get to learn that Gail Kim gets another title shot.
Because why the fuck not?
Because she has the Batista Game Genie code.
They really don't have anybody else, do they?
They have Jade. Jade can get a fucking rematch, but no, we're gonna give Gail Kim this opportunity because
didn't Jade face her on the Impact last week on the live one?
Who?
Jade. Sienna.
No, Jade didn't fight Sienna. No, there was no Knockouts title match last week.
Oh, geez.
No knockouts at all, really. Other than Maria, no knockouts at all.
Well.
So, other than that Marty Bell interview, that was it. So, yeah, anyways, we're gonna get here comes the cage match. And in a funny moment, Jeff decides, because this can't be just a cage match, we need ladders.
We're gonna throw in tables, ladders, and chairs for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, just, you know what are the best cage matches? Ones where they just use the freaking cage as a weapon. Those are the best cage matches. Two guys wrestle And they use the cage. They don't need weapons in there also. They just need
the cage is already a weapon. You don't need tables. You don't need garbage cans. You don't need ladders. You don't need chairs.
And one of the best cage matches of all time, which was Bret Hart versus Owen Hart, which they did. Just a wrestling match inside a cage where they at times use the cage as a weapon. You don't need. But no, the Hardys need tables, ladders, and chairs.
They're crutches at this point for them.
Yeah, so anyway, Matt Hardy's music as played by Schroeder, and here comes Rebby with the baby behind her, and the baby being more charismatic than her, as she talks about how these people are weak. No, you do not understand my husband's brilliance. He will delete Brother Nero.
It's not brilliance, Rebby. It's the drugs.
So, the baby's in the background with his head poking out, going, ha, ha.
Why the fuck am I here?
Yeah, he's more charismatic. So, Matt comes out, that we have a match, and at some point Matt starts biting Jeff Hardy, and I'm like, don't do that! You'll get drugs from his system. Oh wait, that's what Matt wants. Matt wants the blood from Jeff's system.
It makes him stronger.
He hits his brother with a swanton after 2 low blows, and it's a 2 count. Swanton, two twist of fates, and a swanton, still a 2 count. So he goes a little crazy. He decides to twist of fate Matt again, put him on a table, put a chair over him, then put another table over Matt, as well, over the chair and hit Matt. Then he's going to put the ladder on the top turnbuckle, cushion it there, climb the ladder so the top of the ladder is higher than the cage, and he's just going to frog splash onto Matt. And that's how the finish went. He did that, everyone freaks out. Matt Hardy, Jeff wins. Everyone talks about how it's a great finish, it's all that, and I'm like, dude, it's just a normal Hardy finish. Jeff does something stupid, it either works or it doesn't. Match over.
Time it does.
Yeah, it worked this time.
The same finish we've seen for 15 fucking years.
Okay, you didn't like the show? I did.
I think the show, I fell asleep during the main event. I think the show is fine. I think it probably certain things could have been better. For instance, maybe because I didn't see last week's show, the whole Maria and Bennett and Dixie thing didn't make sense.
No, it didn't. It didn't make sense now either. So, did you see the slap though that they showed on the replays during this week's show? They showed replays of last week's show where they showed the slap, and it was a weak ass.
Next week's Impact is Lashley, EC3, and Drew.
Oh yeah, by the way, yeah, Dixie, before getting told to take a leave of absence, she told Franklin that we made the decision that next week's main event will be you defending against EC3 and Drew Galloway, and Lashley's like, okay, fine with me.
Doesn't fight it at all.
I love this. I love this about Franklin. People get to want to insert themselves in a tag match. Okay. People want to make matches about him. Okay.
Okay.
I
have no say in this at all. I'm the champion.
I'll still win. Fine with me. I'll have this jabroni here as my tag partner. I don't care.
Yep.
So that is all for 4 episodes of TV. Well, 3 episodes of TV and 1 pay-per-view. Dear God, that might have been long.
Yeah. And we will see you all next week.
Well, actually, we have a few things. I have something to sell. Do you? By the way,
I do not.
Kev, you said you found her.
Yep, I found her. Allison Kay has been training for 4 years at Stars and Strikes MMA in Livonia, Michigan. She made her professional debut at Vertex Fight Night in Cadillac, Michigan on December 5th. She defeated her opponent by a 2nd-round submission.
Okay, cool. That actually makes a lot of this really good. That she's going to be the new breed of knockouts. I like this.
Yes.
And Okay, so,
And she's also got an interview with MMA Weekly that went up, December 26th last year. So.
okay. Mike, do you have anything to sell?
Nope.
I do. This Saturday will be the induction of Rat's Night of Terror, and next week's induction is a movie both of you will have probably heard of. It is a movie from the 90s. It stars Tim Curry and Ernie Hudson, Congo.
I think I have heard of that.
Yes. Killer Gorillas.
Congo Bongo.
Congo, the Killer Gorilla movie. A movie that some people like and I like, but not a lot. It's gotten crapped on.
You don't say.
It'll continue my summer of me watching movies that I enjoy that may not be it for everyone.
Okay.
So, with that said, Miley, we are heading to bed, and we will see you all
Good
next
night,
week.
everybody.